This is Raceline. Brought to you by General Tire. Sooner or later, you'll own Generals. Castrol, the oil engineered for today's cars. And by Revell, the world's model maker.
Hello and welcome to Cayuga Speedway and Raceline's presentation of the Molson Export 300. An extremely windy day, as you can see by my hair blowing in the wind. But we're not expecting any shortage of action today, as the American Speed Association has 34 competitors in today's field, and it's anyone's checkered flag today, because last year's 300 winner and Triple Crown winner, Butch Miller, is not here to defend his title. This is the first of two Molson Export races from Cayuga Speedway this season, so be sure to check your listings to watch for Raceline's next Molson Export presentation. But back to the race at hand. Today's 300 lap will be covered by race experts Eric Thomas, Norm Noddle, and John Masingbird, who's in the pits and joins us now.
Well, it's going to be 300 laps of ASA action here at the Molson Export 300. Pit strategy and pit action is going to be very, very critical in this race. It's 5/8 of a mile, very fast. You've got to get in and out in record time as far as pit stops are concerned. If you're anything over 20 seconds, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. We'll be back later in the race to cover some of that pit action. Eric, back up to you.
Thanks, John. The first order of business is to welcome in the newest member of our Raceline team, a former Molson Grand National Drag Racing champion, Mr. Norm Noddle. Norm, welcome.
Thanks, Eric. Good to be back.
We look forward to your racing expertise. Well, we have to pick a winner for the Molson Export 300 with the American Speed Association. I have to go with a tried and true commodity. He's been the fan favorite here at Cayuga since the days of regular Friday night late model shows when he drove a seemingly uncatchable and unbeatable orange and black number 72. He's been spending more time building cars than driving them, but he's going to reverse that priority for 1990. Car number 72, I think you know who we're talking about, none other than Junior Hanley.
Yeah, I almost hate to go against Junior because I'm from Oakville and he started off there, but we're going to flip the Badgerland finish, and I'm going to go with number 84, Bob Seneker. I think he wants it pretty badly. He's won on this racetrack 5 times, and the V6 engine may be the key to his victory.
Do we not have a tremendous engine war going on with ASA between the V8s and the V6s?
Yeah, and the sanctioning body is trying to promote the V6 engine, so they put a 100-pound factor on the V8s. The V6 is very torquey. It makes power very quickly. The V8s will use a little more fuel, and they'll be pushing in the corners. I think the V6s are going to do it.
So take your pick, a V8 or a V6, Junior Hanley or Bob Seneker. It's wide open. The next few minutes will tell the tale. Let's go back to John Masingbird.
In the world of stock car racing, the tracks range from the quarter-mile bull rings to the half-mile and up super speedways. Dennis Robertson, what style of track do you prefer?
I prefer the larger tracks, John. I always like the larger tracks. There's lots of room to pass, lots of room to move. It's good, clean racing, and I like the speed.
Now, Dennis, in this afternoon's program, the Molson Export 300, you've qualified in the number 29 position. How do you feel about that?
Well, you always like to qualify better, John, but we didn't have that much time for warm-ups. We had some problems with the car, but anyway, we're happy to be in the race and happy to qualify. It's a 300-lap race. It's a good spot to start. Gives everybody time to sort things out, and hopefully we'll be there at the end.
Dennis Robertson, the driver of the Pro Cool Buick. Dennis, best of luck.
Thank you very much, John. Appreciate it.
Harold's crew working on the engine room in car number 81, and let's talk with Harold Fair out of Detroit, Michigan. Harold, and compare the V6 and the V8 engines. You've run both. Tell us your impressions.
Well, the V6 really surprised me. We got into them last year, really running them all the time, and they're very consistent. They're very smooth as long as you keep them wound up. The V8, you can let her come down a little bit. There's a lot more torque on the V8, coming off the corner, so you need more gear with the V6. But the V8 has always been such a reliable motor, and we were concerned that the V6 wouldn't be reliable. But once we got into the program, we were very surprised, and we had minimum problems with the V6.
Biggest difference, of course, is the weight. When you're talking weight, a track like Cayuga, 5/8 of a mile, the weight difference between the two engines is very remarkable.
This is what the association does. They make a 100-pound weight break for a V6. So that, you compare the two, the V8 and the V6, you take 100 pounds off the car, and that's a lot of horsepower that you have to try to compare that with.
Let me ask you this. Do you have a preference?
Well, at certain tracks there are. Like at Milwaukee, there's a 150-pound weight break, but we still ran the V8 there last time. And I'm thinking a little bit more about going back with a V6, but Cayuga, you can run a V8 or a V6. The longer the greens stay out, the more advantage to the V6.
V6 or V8, question of horsepower, question of weight with Harold Fair from Detroit. Here's a look at the lineup for the Molson Export 300 at Cayuga. Bob Seneker, the 17-year veteran on the pole. Scott Hansen the Rookie of the Year last year outside of row number 1. Seneca's teammate, the rookie, Johnny Benson Jr. from Grand Rapids, Michigan, in row 2. Outside of him, also a rookie from Eau Claire, Wisconsin, Steve Burgess in car number 12. Row 3, Lonnie Rush Jr. in the Dayglow 16. He's from Pickerington, Ohio. Beside him, Dave Jackson from Loveland, Ohio, member of the Ohio Connection Gang. That's row 3. In row 4, the 88 ASA Rookie of the Year from Grays Lake, Illinois, car number 5. It's Jeff Neal. And Harold Fair, the 8-year veteran in ASA, a winner in 88 at Cayuga, in row 4 as well. Here's a look at the rest of the field. There's Junior Hanley from Campbellville, Ontario, in row 5. And down in row 7, the defending 89 ASA points champion Mike Eddy from Midland, Michigan. It's a great looking field out here. Row number 9, Glenn Allen Jr., Gary St. Amant won the season opener at his home track in Columbus, Ohio, in car number 7. There's car number 50, Chaz Howe, the son of Ed Howe, the legendary chassis builder. Row 13, there's Cayuga veteran Bill Snowden. Dennis Robertson, who has our in-car camera, in car 57 in row number 14. And right beside him in car 62, former track champion Wayne Keeling. And Vito Michelli all by himself in row 17. Back for the start of the Molson Export 300 on Raceline.
Forget the experts. We've got the experts, the fans. Right on. You got to have a good time today?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Who's your favorite?
72 Junior Hanley.
All right.
Hanley, no doubt.
No doubt. And?
Canadian Hanley.
All right. You?
If he can control his temper, Hanley.
Oh!
Bob Seneca on the pole.
You like it when it crashes?
No.
No?
No. Don't want to see anybody get hurt.
Okay. No, I agree. And you going to have fun?
Oh, yeah.
All right. We're looking forward to it in the sunshine this afternoon. We're going to have fun, guys and girls? Yeah! All right. We'll see what happens at the end of the race. Derek, back to you.
Okay, Catherine. Boy, they're having a lot of fun down there. Norm, I think we should be watching it from the seats.
Lots of fun to be had at Cayuga every race day, Eric.
Cars are gridded, ready for that special command any second now.
So drivers, let's go racing.
Alrighty, let's go racing means the same as gentlemen, start your engines, and 34 fabulously fast American Speed Association late models are off and rolling. Norm, what a field this is.
Yes, taking the wave lap now, the fan appreciation lap, Eric.
34 cars set to do battle, and on the pole, Durham, Michigan's Bob Seneca. In car number 84, there's a look at him there, Scott Hansen, the 89 ASA Fel Pro Rookie of the Year on the outside of row number 1. And there's Seneca's teammate, car number 21, Johnny Benson Jr., inside of row 2.
Okay, and an update on the V8, V6 controversy. Number 7, 9, and 10 qualifiers were the V8s, and all the rest in the top 10 had the V6, so that 100 pounds of weight and the torque out of the corners, the V6s are looking strong.
Engine battle is going to be great, so is the start. Here we go, Chip Shuneman with the green flag, and we're off and rolling with the Molson Export 300 1990 edition from Cayuga here on Raceline. They are teammates, and they're running 1 and 2 in the early going. Bob Seneca out of Durham, Michigan, car 84, your leader. His teammate, Johnny Benson Jr., the rookie, out of Grand Rapids, Michigan, running in second place. And there's Scott Hansen, the rookie of the year last year, running in third place. A clean start, Norm.
Hansen looking very aggressive, but you're right, they're off to a fine start.
Bob Seneca, car number 84, the new principal driver for the Leroy Troop team. This is the team that won 2 events in the 1980s with Butch Miller, who has since gone on and graduated to NASCAR Winston Cup. This is a new lease on life for Bob Seneca. He doesn't have to worry about maintaining the car. He just meets the team at the track and away he goes. He told me before the race he loves the new setup. And problems on the backstretch. Scott Hansen in car number 53. It's getting pretty messy back here.
What a terrible thing to happen so early in the race. A clean start just messed up by this one.
Car number 66, Glenn Allen Jr. out of Cincinnati, Ohio, got through. There's Dennis Vogel in car number 51 getting through. Let's look at it again, Norm. What happened here?
Looks like Hansen just going a little shallow, picks up the grass with the left front wheel, tosses him into the corner.
Oh boy, right down mowing some lawn, and that kicked him back up the wrong way on the back stretch. And oh boy, the body panels are flying back here now. This will bring out the first caution period of the afternoon. This is the way Dennis Robertson out of London, Ontario, in the Sony Handycam, brought to you by Dynamax. our Raceline in-car camera. This is the way he got through this wreckage back here, just sort of picking your way like walking across rocks in a stream. Down to the pits quickly, Norm, and here's Junior Hanley's crew, John Massingbird.
Second time in the pits for Junior Hanley. Again, the whole crew back over the wall. Rear damage to the back clip, left-hand side. They're adding all sorts of 200-mile-an-hour duct tape in an effort to get Hanley back in. The aerodynamics of the car are going to be upset with all of the back clip on the left side gone.
Well, that's a tough break for Junior Hanley, Norm. He's always the fan favorite here, has been for a long, long time. He's now going to start focusing on racing more than building cars, but right off the bat, he's got some severe fiberglass damage on the 72.
I'd be less concerned about the aerodynamic damage to that car than the driver attitude damage right now. Junior's probably got steam coming out of his ears.
Oh, Bob Seneker continues to lead here. His teammate, Johnny Benson Jr., car 21 running second. Mike Eddy, the points champion. One driver who did not survive, though, Norm, in the backstretch was Jeff Neal in car 5, standing by with John Massingbird.
We're in the pit area with a very dejected Jeff Neal, the driver of the 5 Xerox Revell Thunderbird. Jeff, what happened out there?
Scott Hansen got in the dirt and spun out, and everybody's trying to find a place to go, and I thought he had a shot up the middle, and next thing I got hit somewhere, and I just spun.
Now, the situation on the car is the clutch is locked up. Are you going to fix it?
Yeah, we're trying to fix it right now, trying to get out of the grass there. We were on the motor up pretty high and smoked the clutch disc, so we're trying to get back out.
Tough break for Jeff Neal. He'll try to get the number 5 Xerox Thunderbird back into the race.
Coming down to the green flag, and a tough break for Jeff Neal, Norm, because the engine wars just took a bit of a beating there with Jeff Neal out of it. Here's the look from along the wall as the ASA cars come whizzing by on the green flag. The V8 V6 battle. Here's a look at it again from Dennis Robertson in the Raceline Sony Handycam, brought to you by Dynamax Monroe Revell. This is the way he sees it. Listen to this engine turn these RPMs.
Maxing out at just under 8,000 RPM every lap.
Oh, it's a nice bit of music inside Dennis Robertson's car. Of course, Jeff Neal now, with that development program in the Ford V6 going to Kent Stauffer in car number 90, he's back with that V8, Norm.
Okay, and unfortunately the Ford V8 out of the program now. Only number 9 and 10 qualifiers still in with V8. Jay Summers and Junior Hanley. Rounding turn 4 right now is Junior Hanley, and he and his crew have got to be pretty happy. They saved the day early in the race by hot lapping in and out of the pits and not going down a lap.
In turn number 3 in the Raceline bumper cam, that is Bob Seneker coming right down at you with his teammate Johnny Benson Jr. in car number 21. And here comes Mike Eddy in car number 88, the Green Machine, coming right down your throat, right over your coffee table into your living room. Great shots out of Dennis Robertson's bumper cam. Rest of the field moving on through. Some great shots here. There's car 12, Steve Burgess from Eau Claire, Wisconsin. And this is the way the front bumper looks. A couple of bugs on Ted Musgrave. More action to come on Raceline. Welcome back to Raceline from Cayuga Speedway, south of Hamilton, the Molson Export 300. I'm Eric Thomas with Norm Noddle, John Massingbird, and Catherine DeCourt. Bob Seneker, there he is. Car number 84 is your leader, still relatively early in the 300-lap event. Another driver moving up nicely, picking off positions. Harold Fair in car 81. More from his pit and John Massingbird.
Jim, what's your strategy on your next pit stop?
Well, we got to take the push out of the car. We got to get some right side tires and hopefully get the push taken care of so we can run with the leaders.
Now, Jim, will you pit with the leaders under a caution, or will you do it on a scheduled stop?
We'll pit when the leaders pit, unless something happens beforehand and the push gets so bad we got to stop.
That's the strategy from Jim Warren.
All right, John Massingbird, thank you very much. Harold Fair in car number 81, the 8-year veteran out of Detroit, Michigan, moving up through the field. Mike Eddy moves by our position, along with Ted Musgrave in car number 98 and Junior Hanley in the 72. There's a look at Bob Seneker coming up on the back end of Dave Jackson's number 45. Jackson from Loveland, Ohio, and we've got a car on the grass, and we've got to go yellow for the second time. Dave Eisen in car number 77 from London, Ontario, spins it down and does a little lawn mowing of his own. That's going to bring out the yellow flag for the second time.
Due to that yellow flag, Scott Hansen has an opportunity to get back in contention with the badly damaged number 53 car. Check it out. No front end whatsoever, Eric.
All righty, but Bob Seneker, the leader, is into the pits, and the Lane Automotive Troop Racing crew will go to work. And here's his teammate, car number 21, Johnny Benson Jr., a full load of fuel.
Be interesting to see if the troop crew chiefs speak to each other after this pit stop, Eric.
Harold Fair is also in, quick to John Massingbird.
We're in the pit area of Harold Fair. The crew over the wall. A drink of water goes in for Harold Fair. Tires on the right-hand side and a full load of fuel. He's pitted with the leaders.
One thing to mention in these pit stops, Norm, they're only allowed to change one side of the tires at a time. They cannot change all four. It's fuel and one side or the other, but they can't do all four. Great service by some of these crews. Lightning fast pit stops, and the way this series is going in 1990 in the AC-Delco Challenge, pit stops are more critical than ever.
Absolutely true. You can't afford to give up positions in the pit stop. Take, for example, Scott Hansen, the job they did keeping this car in line.
Look at the damage on Scott Hansen in number 53, looking more like a dirt modified as Chip Shenneman's got the green flag, and we're off and racing again on the restart.
We've mentioned a few times aerodynamics not so critical on a 5/8 mile, but I mean, that much of a change, I'm sure, is hurting the car.
Well, for sure. I think the wind's got to be whistling around Scott Hansen's head with that whole front end nose missing off of car number 53. Mike Eddy out of Midland, Michigan, in the Wegner Automotive Howe Enterprises Buick, a 5-time ASA champion, right on the back end of John Benson Jr. in car number 21, Seneker's teammate. I'm going to tell you something. If Mike Eddy can't find the room, he's going to push some of these cars out of the way. You can be certain of that.
Fierce competitor for sure. Hanley in the 72 car, muscling with the 84 of Seneker and making the position his.
Talked about Mike Eddy, you can't get out of the way. We're going to make it tough on you. Leans into Johnny Benson, sends him 360, and that's the way Mike Eddy has won himself 5 championships. If you don't get out of the way, he's just going to push you out of the way. A look from the inside of Dennis Robertson in the Raceline Sony Handycam. And there's Johnny Benson Jr., the rookie, learning a valuable lesson from the 17-year veteran, Mike Eddy, in car number 88.
No politeness shown whatsoever on this racetrack.
Yeah, that's the way it's done in ASA on these shorter tracks. And that's going to bring Johnny Benson Jr. into the pits again.
Eric, it's worth pointing out that Benson barely missed Junior Hanley on the outside of that corner.
We're going to have to go to work on car number 21. They've got the lid off the engine room now. They're not going to muck around at all. Just get a shears here and like adjusting your pants, the hem on your pants. You get rid of that body on the front, just going to clip it off and bash it away. Now they're going to turn this thing into a dirt modified again.
Could be the battle of the dirt modifieds before we're finished at Cayuga today.
Well, they're not going to fool around. This is one of the benefits of the fiberglass bodies. Let's look at this again. This is the push by Mike Eddy on Johnny Benson.
Looked like Benson was a bit loose already, and Eddy just finished him off.
Also picking up some fiberglass damage, the nose of the 88 Mike Eddy. Let's swing down to the pits with him and John Massingbird.
When you're Mike Eddy, last year's 1989 champion, your own driver and crew chief, you got to do your own work. Eddy getting right in under to do the front end damage and repair it. Situation with him is, he says the track is great, we're not in such a great situation, if we get it fixed, we're just going out to make laps.
That reminds me of a tremendous story about the points chase last year that we'll get to in a little while. We've got to go green here and get this field rolling again in the Molson Export 300 here on Raceline at Cayuga. That's Scott Hansen, car number 53, but he's well back in the field. This is the way the leaderboard looks, Norm.
2 rookies, Steve Burgess, Tim Steele having great runs, Dave Jackson picking up 3rd, the 81 of Harold Fair in 4th.
Harold Fair moving closer to the front where we're used to seeing him located. Pull in your Molsons. They're coming within inches of that wall along the front straightaway. Oh, a glorious noise that it is here at Cayuga on Raceline. Back to the Mike Eddy point story. Last year, the points chase with Butch Miller came right down to the last race at Winchester Speedway. We're watching Tim Steele here in the 85. He had to finish that race at Winchester to beat up Butch Miller. He had to pit under the green when something broke in the suspension, cost him 19 laps to pit. He came back out. He scratched his way back up through the field. He finished 11th at the checkered flag, good enough to win the championship by 40 points or more over Butch Miller. It's the kind of stuff you expect from Mike Eddy.
As Tim Steele, the rookie, leads us through the corner, car number 85. We pick up a spot in the racetrack in corner number 4. Junior Hanley told me early in the race they thought this was moisture. It's turned out to not be a problem.
They put a tar-like patch on top of that as we're seeing the debris in turn number 2. And on the marbling and on the debris, Paul Mathers in 0-1 loops it up there. Everybody's swinging to get out of the way. Here's how it looks to Dennis Robertson in the Raceline Sony Dynamax Handycam. Everyone gets by. But with that debris collecting up in the corners, Norm, it's sometimes tough to navigate this track if you do get up high at all.
The 15 car, the rookie, Richie Bickle, having a great run, starting 15th, now at 6th.
Also having a nice afternoon, Tim Steele, the rookie in car number 85. He has his own ideas how to get around this track.
The secret to getting around Cayuga, I'm still working on trying to figure that one out. Hopefully we'll have it figured out before the end of the race.
Okay, well, so far he's doing all right. Car number 85, Tim Steele out of Martin, Michigan, the HS Dye and Engineering Chevrolet. He doesn't need a whole lot of time to figure out the track here. As most of these drivers, you'll be surprised, always a good crop of rookies in ASA. It doesn't take these new guys a long time to get climatized to this 5/8 mile oval.
Of course, the reference to rookie, Eric, it means they're a rookie in the ASA competition.
True.
Many of these racers have raced all over the United States and Canada in other formats.
Hang on, Norm, we're going to go green here. Chip Shenneman's green flag being displayed. We're up and racing again in the Molson Export 300 here on Raceline. Everyone staying out of trouble as we make our way up to the top of the field to look once again from our Raceline Sony Handycam. You are on board with Moseley, Ontario's Dennis Robertson. Car 72, Junior Hanley, desperately trying to get back on the lead lap, is into the pits. This could be a really tough pit stop, Norm.
Tough turn of events here for the Campbellville veteran, number 72. We're not sure. It looks like they're going for right side rubber.
Yes, they will go for right side rubber. Look at the damage at the back end of this car. A splash of fuel, and they've got to get Junior back out here in a hurry. With it only being 5/8 of a mile, it doesn't take you too long to go down one lap, let alone two, and that is the danger right now, as Junior Hanley in the Quaker State Motion Motors Chevrolet, the veteran, knows this track very well. Good service, and there's the fuel coming out of the excess and the overflow. He's got to get back out here. I don't think, no, he's just going to stay a lap down. He was in real danger going down two there.
He's got to be pleased with his crew on that pit stop, Eric.
Yes, pit stops, oh so critical with the American Speed Association this year. There's Harold Fair in car number 81. He is clawing his way up through this field. Right on the back end of Dave Jackson out of Loveland, Ohio in car number 45. They're in turn number 4 and down the front straightaway. There's Bob Seneker in 84 right in behind him. He was our pole sitter.
It's anticipated that there would be 2 pit stops if there were no cautions.
Right.
And we've had one series now. Now's the concern of whether there's any stagger problems in the tires.
We'll have to wait and see, but so far no stagger problems with Harold Fair, although car number 81 has developed a little bit of a push in the corner, and he's been wrestling with that most of the day. But the guy whose car is running like it's on a rail right now is the veteran in behind him, our pole sitter, 84, Bob Seneker, getting by Dennis Robertson. He's the one carrying our cameras this afternoon. Down into turn number 4. Here is the leader at this point after that shuffle off the last batch of pit stops. The rookie, Tim Steele, in car number 85 out of Marne, Michigan. He leads this field around, and a nice little sizable lead here, 5 or 6 car lengths. Tim Steele in turn number 4, down in front of the packed grandstands here for more ASA action. The fans really eat this ASA stuff up. Back to the wall again. Great shots from the camera. Body damage in some of these cars quite evident from some of the early crack-ups that we had in the event. There's Richie Bickle in car number 15, moving on up. Starting to gobble up cars here. He can drive nice and deep in the corners, Norm.
Bickle again, we mentioned, having a great run here. He's going to be felt at the end of this race for sure.
Trying to catch our leader, the rookie number 85, Tim Steele. Tire wear becoming a factor, Norm.
In the heat of the day, we start to be concerned about blistered tires. The crew chief is going to have to be very concerned about keeping the stagger right so they don't scrub the tires off these cars. Now to the pits and a report from John Massingberg.
This tire has just come off of Bill Snowden's number 94, and as you can see, it's badly blistered. This is a result of what they call push or a stagger change that's not correct. Badly blistered. When this happens, absolutely no traction. It's come off the right front corner.
Well, the only thing that tire is good for is planting trees in your front yard or something, but here again is the look from Dennis Robertson's car number 57 and our Raceline Sony Dynamax bumper cam. That is a look at the front end, I believe. Yes, Johnny Benson Jr. in car number 21 coming right into your front living room as they pick up this pace around turns 3 and 4. Anything you like in that engine room for your own car at home, just reach out and grab it.
Well, it should reduce the cooling problems anyway, Eric.
Perhaps it will. It'll look from the field right down at bumper level. There's Bob Seneker going by in car number 84. Ted Musgrave in car number 98. He is also on the move. He had the pole for the Molson Export 400 here at Cayuga last August, but so far it's still the rookie 85 Tim Steele, Norm.
I expected the 98 car Musgrave to be heard from in this event just a little bit more. Perhaps he's just been biding his time, saving his tires.
Musgrave is always a hard charger from Grand Marsh, Wisconsin, the Wisconsin Aviation Buick. He knows his way around. As we said, he had the pole for the Molson Export 400 here at Cayuga last year. So Ted Musgrave is working his way to the front. All those heavy ASA hitters that you expected to be close to the front are all starting to make their move. Harold Fair is up there. Bob Seneca never too far away. And now Ted Musgrave joins the pack as well. Trying to catch the rookie, Tim Steele, right down low. You notice that unorthodox style for Ted Musgrave, Norm. He gets that tire right down almost on the grass.
Dropping the tire onto the grass on occasion, and that could cost him later in this race.
Well, just as you mentioned that, Ted Musgrave gets down in the lawn and he decides that he's going to mow some grass of his own, and he gets into trouble. He dropped that tire too far down on the grass. How did you work that timing out, Norm?
Whatever you do, don't tell Musgrave about this. His crew chief may be angry with me.
Well, Musgrave was able to gather it back up and continue on because we did not have to have a yellow. And Tim Steele says thank you very much because he would like to continue to lead this, and he does as he brings them out of 4 and down the front straightaway. Good driving skill there by Teddy Musgrave in car number 98. Spun, but gathered it up and didn't hit anything.
That just comes from many, many years of the short track stock car racing.
Notice some of the drivers getting pretty loose here in turn number 1 as they hop out of the racing groove, but right here at the front it's still Tim Steele in car 85.
Good observation, Eric. I think they're due for the next set of pit stops.
Kent Stauffer from Elyria, Ohio in the Kinetic Engines Flex Tech Ford. He's got that Ford V6 that used to be campaigned by Jeff Neal in car number 5. He's currently running in second place. And here's Junior Hanley in car number 72 running in third. He's trying to gobble up cars to get back on the lead lap.
Junior knows that there's a pit stop coming and he's got to get onto the lead lap. Even if he's at the tail end, that's all he needs to do. He is pushing that V8 engine for all it's worth.
Oh, just picked up another position there. He got by Kent Stauffer's number 90. Now he's got the 85 of Tim Steele to reel in here. Folks in the stands are really eating this up. Junior Hanley is picking off cars to get back on the lead lap, and they're pretty excited about it. But that's nothing new. Junior's been a fan favorite forever at this track.
The thing that's interesting to note is the number of fans he has in the United States also. He's just a very popular driver.
Well, whatever ails that number 72 before with all that body damage, there's nothing wrong with it right now. Kicks it down to the bottom groove. No one does it better than Junior Hanley, and he picks up that position from Tim Steele, and it looks like he's going to get himself back on the lead lap here.
If Junior is a factor late in this race, Eric, it has to be through the strategy. Throughout the event, tremendous strategy.
Junior Hanley going by, Dennis Robertson in the Sony Raceline bumper cam showing you going by. You saw Dennis on the backstretch. There's Kent Stauffer in the 90. We've got lots more action to come on Raceline.
He was awarded Rookie of the Year in 1988. 89 was a trying year on the oval, and now is a promising ASA star determined to overcome a difficult year. His name is Jeff Neal. Jeff had no trouble getting Tony to marry him because Jeff has a surefire way on how to meet women.
Well, my dad used to own an engine company, and Harold was a customer of my dad's, and I worked for Harold. Became his crew chief, met his daughter, got married.
Having basic driving skills is great, but Jeff needed more knowledge about chassis and engines to become a champ. Fortunately, Dad Neal owned Prototype Engineering.
Through that company, I was able to open a lot of doors, and that's enabled me to get where I am today with Xerox Antifreeze and Revell Model Company and Victor Ford. Without them, couldn't do it.
The top guns of NASCAR, such as Trickle, Wallace, and Kawicki, are all graduates of the ASA. Question is, where does Jeff Neal go from here?
Hopefully Talladega or something like that now. Winston Cup is my plan.
But as anyone knows, plans have a way of changing. We'll see what happens to Jeff's at the end of the season. Right now, Jeff, his wife Tony, and the Xerox team have their work cut out. He's currently in the top 20 in the ASA point standings and would love to have his wheels aimed straight up. Since the age of 12, Jeff Neal has wanted to drive, and for now, that's what he's doing. No matter what happens, that's life in the fast lane.
Thank you, Catherine. Unfortunately, Jeff Neal was an early retiree from this race, but so far a rookie, number 85, Tim Steele from Marne, Michigan, in the HS Dye and Engineering Chevrolet continues to show the field around and almost spinning there, and Dave Jackson does get out of shape in car 45. Picking it up here in our Raceline Sony bumper cam, Harold Fair, the car right there in your nose, and that's going to bring out another yellow flag. Some hairy moments back there, and you saw it all on the Raceline Sony bumper cam.
Late in the day, the tires starting to give way. You could just see the car push, and then he lost it.
Yeah, things are getting a little bit slick out here, Norm, in the racing groove.
I'm looking for some pretty quick pit action here, Eric. I'm sure most of the leaders will want to get in the pits, get some fresh rubber on the cars, and then go for this last stretch of about 100 more laps.
It'll be standing room only in the pits, you can be sure, as all the leaders and the front runners dropping down to that low groove. There goes Tim Steele, your leader in the pit row.
Tim Steele and company have to be pleased with this run, though. Just a great run today.
John Massingbird's right there. John.
We're with your leader, number 85, Tim Steele, the HS Dye Chevrolet. According to crew chief Roy Gillen, it's going to be a full load of fuel and right side tires. Tim says the car's running great. He's out there having a ball.
You hear the foot on the throttle feathering that thing, Norm, making sure the revs wow, the engine just sort of coughed. It bought a little bit of air instead of fuel. Now he's got it in gear, and now he rolls away. You got to be careful the way they're geared, Norm. They're not really meant to start from a standing stop, are they?
No, these cars definitely running a fairly low numerical number in the rear end, and if you can't get away sharply, you could bog, especially that V6 engine, which lacks a little of the bottom end torque.
Exactly. So, the yellow continues, and most of the leaders getting in now. Look at this. Here is a story unto itself. John Wilson out of Springfield, Ohio. This is the car campaigned as we go to green by Harold Fair last year. They blew up the primary V6 power plant of the 71, went back to the shop. The only engine they had left was an old 5-year-old tired V8 that was gathering cobwebs and dust. Opened the lid, just lowered it in, bolted it where it hits, and he's out here leading. This is something that has never happened, really, to John Wilson before. He has led races, but not too many of them. He's a decidedly low-buck operation.
Yes, it could be that he's just more acclimatized to that V8 combination. He likes the higher power.
But how do you figure this? The engine has never been rebuilt, and it just drops it in this car, and so far, with Steve Burgess in car number 12 giving him some heat here, it's just running so well.
Every crew chief out there has one of these stashed away, and they call them sweetie pies.
Well, so far, it's working out very sweetly for John Wilson out of Springfield, Ohio in car number 71.
Talking to some of the veteran observers, they're very pleased to see Wilson out in the lead at this event.
He's one of these guys who never runs up near the top. He's always around the middle to the bottom part of the pack by the time the checkered flag comes out, but he never gets in the way. He's always able to let the leaders go by. He stays out of trouble, and you've got to have guys like John Wilson in a race series, Norm, because without them, it'd all be front runners, and you only have 5-6 car fields. You have to have people like John to fill out those fields.
Absolutely true. There's another rumor going around right now that he does not have enough tires for a pit stop if he needs one before the third 300 lap.
Conspicuous by his absence, where is Junior Hanley, Norm?
Eric, he lost power. He's gone to the pits. Here's John Massingberg.
We're with a very dejected Junior Hanley. Junior, you had a good run on the go. You got messed up earlier in the program. You got the car sorted out, and you got back to the back end of the lead lap. What happened?
Well, we had a flat tire, was going flat under the green, and we kept running with it flat. And I thought the car was just pushing, and I should have come in, and I never come in, and then right after they dropped the green again, it went flat, and I had to pit under the green, and I lost the lap.
Could you have gone the distance?
I could have. We had the tires geared up now, so we could have run to the end, and I don't know what happened. Something broke in the motor or the transmission.
Tough break for Junior Hanley in the number 72 Quaker State Chevrolet.
Late news report from the pit area. He broke the differential in the car, Eric.
Well, Junior won the Badgerland 150 at Milwaukee, but so far jinxed here at Cayuga. And some problems up here in turn number 1. That's Tim Steele, who was just leading here a little while ago. Runs into problems up in turn number 1, and he has slid down to the grassy area up against the upright. And that's going to bring out another caution flag. Pace car comes back out. Tim Steele, he's able to find power, get it fired up again, and he rejoins the pack with yellow flag number 7 here in the afternoon during the Molson Export 300. It's been pretty clean. Haven't had that many yellows at all, Norm.
Eric, keep an eye on number 98, Ted Musgrave. He's ready to dive down into the pits, I believe. He's not happy with the tire stagger.
Coming in for a quick adjustment here, Ted Musgrave, car number 98, the Wisconsin Aviation Buick out of Grand Marsh, Wisconsin. He's a former ASA Rookie of the Year, and the crew goes to work with that right side rubber, getting the fuel cell all topped up. One of the finest looking ASA racers. Ted Musgrave always has a fine looking car. Oh, a nice pit stop, Norm.
Absolutely true, and this looks like it's going to be the run to the finish now if there's no more cautions.
Well, John Wilson hanging on in car number 71 in a car campaigned by Harold Fair last year with a 5-year-old engine continues to hang on. It is a dream situation as we're going green again.
Wilson and family are going to want to take a picture of that leaderboard there. He's looking really strong this year.
Steve Burgess in the Gillen Enterprises Countertops Incorporated Chevrolet from Eau Claire, Wisconsin, the rookie in car 12, right on the back door of John Wilson's number 71. They're in 4 and down the front straightaway. Wilson continues to hang on. Everyone's scratching their heads, wondering what he's got. It's a 5-year-old engine in a low buck operation, but so far they're all trailing in behind him.
Seems to have a beautiful handle on this racetrack, running right low in the corners, as you can see here, and then he'll pick it up and come out of the corner high.
Runs nice and flat too, doesn't he?
Beautifully so.
Steve Burgess in car 12 continues to apply pressure. That's Harold Fair in car number 81.
Actually, I think Fair's been hanging back and looking for an opportunity to get by these two guys.
And look who's in behind Harold Fair, the 84 of Bob Seneker. He was our initial pole sitter, and he is in the hunt for the front again. Down the back stretch, into turn 3. And trouble there with Burgess in the 12. It looks like a tire may have given away or something in the front, in the steering, but he just went up, lost the groove completely, and kisses the wall in between 3 and 4. Here's a look at it again, Norm.
I'm sure we're going to find an equalized tire. It just lost the car in the corner.
Just came skating out from underneath them, and he taps the wall up there between 3 and 4, and this will bring out yellow flag number 8 for the afternoon. The field slowing down again. Cayuga Crew's getting set with some of that speedy dry. No doubt Burgess lost some fluid somewhere. This is a look at Wilson again. John Wilson out of Springfield, Ohio, and he is on pit row. The leaders are pitting again. I don't know whether this crew has had this kind of pressure many times before this, but they're leading this event, and they've got to get a hurry on here and get them out, or they're going to lose a position.
Just had an interesting observation with the ASA officials that only 2 of the current top 10 cars have ever won an ASA race.
John Wilson right now is hoping to add his name to that list. They're getting him out. That's not a bad pit stop at all. John Wilson in car number 71 out of Springfield, Ohio, in the Baumgartner Racing Engines Pontiac. Stopped at the end of pit row as the cars are coming around on the lead lap. Going green again, and a lead change, and then we're going to shuffle the deck one more time, and it's Harold Fair in car number 81, the Hunter Heiskin Chevrolet out of Detroit, Michigan, the ASA veteran of 8 years.
We mentioned earlier, Richie Bickle's going to be heard from. He's trying to go under Seneker right now.
Bob Seneker in the Lane Automotive Chevrolet, the principal driver for the Leroy Troop stable that won 2 championships in the 80s with Butch Miller, who's gone on to NASCAR Winston Cup, is knocking on Harold Fair's back door. He wants in, he wants the lead back. And you're looking at these 2 cars, Norm, it's quite obvious that Bob Seneker in the 84 has the quicker car, that Harold Fair is up front. I have this funny feeling that Mr. Seneker is just biding his time back there.
I'm sure you're right. He's just trying to save the tires. He doesn't want to use them up right now. He knows he has enough fuel to finish the race.
And from the pits, Patty Fair, Harold's wife, is driving this race along with him from pit row. She knows that Seneker is applying that heat, and she's right with her husband, trying to get him to just pick up the pace a little bit here.
Sometimes you need all the help you can get in these things.
Yes, ASA Racing is a family affair, as Harold Fair's daughter married Jeff Neal. Of course, his wife Patty now is cheering the father of this whole brigade along, trying to get him to stay away from Bob Seneker in car number 84. But it is tight right now. Seneker's right back there. I just don't think he's using the whole throttle. He's probably got a lot left, and he's showing us right now.
He's got enough laps to be patient.
Harold Fair, who won here at Cayuga in 1988, the 8-year American Speed Association veteran, doing a nice job here in car number 81. He hails from Detroit. His son Harold Jr. works with the crew. Oh, Patty Fair is just going wild in the pits. Seneker making that move. Here he goes to the outside down the front straightaway. They're into turn number 1. They trade paint. They make contact. Harold Fair is forced to the high side. Seneca makes the pass, and he's got the lead back again from the pole position here, Norm.
Fair tried to close that door, and Seneca muscled him.
Yeah, I don't know. Here's the replay again. Is this Harold trying to stop him, or Seneca trying to push him out of the way?
Oh, Fair's trying to stop him. There's no doubt about it.
Couple of veterans there, 25 years of experience with the American Speed Association between those two. And Bob Seneca is back in the lead where he started this race from.
Again, look who's holding down third spot, the rookie, Richie Bickle. He is still going to be a factor in this race.
You know, you talk to Richie Bickle and he says, I'm not really a rookie. I've got over 100 feature wins to my credit, but this is his first year with ASA, so he does wear the R as a rookie. But here we go with Bob Seneca, the last few pages of the Molson Export 300.
Look for the 15 car to start challenging the 81 of Harold Fair.
Here's how it looks in our Raceline Sony Handycam, brought to you by Dynamax Monroe Revell. How it looks to Dennis Robertson from London, Ontario, in car number 57.
Dennis having a smooth run, but lacking the power to run with the leaders.
And Bob Seneca, notice how easily, Norm, that he's pulling away from Harold Fair. Lots of horsepower there.
A little bit of smoke here from one of the back markers. Got to watch for oil on this track surface. Well, Eric, I don't want to be the new kid on the block strutting my stuff, but I would like to point out that my pick, the number 84 car of Bob Seneca, does seem to be running away with this race.
What the devil are you talking about? I know what you're talking about. You picked Bob Seneca to win this. Junior Hanley, my pick, retired with some engine problems earlier, but it looks pretty good for your pick and for Bob Seneca. Harold Fair running second. Richie Bickle, a nice ride for the rookie, running in third place, and there's the veteran Ted Musgrave running in fourth in car number 98. But so far, your pick, Bob Seneca, looks like he is well on his way to picking up his 6th feature win here at Cayuga. And some problems up there. We had Bruce Vanderlaan at a camera range spinning, and it's going to bring out another yellow flag. This is the 9th yellow flag of the day, and it's going to slow things down and bunch up the pack in behind your leader, Bob Seneca.
That's all it's going to do. I don't think anyone who's in contention now will dare go in the pit area.
Well, there's Harold Fair in the 81 out of Detroit, Michigan, trying to chase down the Seneca number 84. Coming into this race, Seneca leads in all-time ASA victories with 60, and as we said, 5 of those checkered flags have fallen for him right here at Cayuga, and he is just a few moments away as the drivers are trying to keep those tires warm from making it 61 ASA wins and 6 feature wins at Cayuga.
Hard to believe in the heat of the day you'd need to keep those tires warm, but they want that consistency for the cornering.
Weaving those cars back and forth, keeping the tire temperature up by scrubbing. Here's a look at Seneca. Leads in all-time ASA earnings, over $720,000 coming into this season. And green flag again. And we're back underway for the last few laps of the Molson Export 300 here at Cayuga Speedway. Can Seneca hang on here? Unless he breaks, obviously, no one's going to catch him. At least not today.
Second, third, and fourth still up for grabs, Eric.
Harold Fair, Richie Bickle, and Ted Musgrave. There's Chip Caputo. That's Seneca's crew chief. Arms folded, hoping the car's going to hold together. May have this one wrapped up.
This is when you start thinking about racing luck.
Harold Fair in the 81, running in second place. Richie Bickle from Edgerton, Wisconsin. The rookie in car 15 running in third. And Ted Musgrave in car number 98 from Grand Marsh, Wisconsin, running currently in fourth. But they're trying to catch this man, the 84 of Bob Seneca, in the Lane Automotive Chevrolet out of Dorr, Michigan, the principal driver for Leroy Troop. New lease on life for this man, Norm. Not having to maintain or tow the car, he just meets the crew at the track. And after 17 years, it was a nice way for Bob Seneca to continue his career. He's like a teenager all over again. His enthusiasm has picked up. He just has to drive the car, and look at the masterful job he's doing.
A very well-earned status for this veteran.
17 years with ASA, and well on his way, as we said, to his 6th win here at Cayuga. Seneca fans loving every second of it.
He's got a clear racetrack. He's got the tires. He's got the fuel. It would only be luck that would stop him.
Let's just follow him around and ride with Dorr, Michigan's Bob Seneca on his way to yet another checkered flag. This will be his 61st of his career.
I really thought Musgrave would have mixed it up a little more than this. I didn't think he'd be happy in fourth spot.
Just saw it there to the corner of the frame. It looked like Musgrave was trying to catch Richie Bickle, but he was forced to back off. White flag, one more time around, just 4 more turns of the wheel, and Bob Seneca has got his 6th win here at Cayuga at the Molson Export 300. Let's follow him around as he brings home the bacon here.
A beautiful drive for this veteran today.
Doesn't get any smoother than this. Checkered flag for Bob Seneker in car number 84 in the Molson Export 300. They're going wild in the pits. And we'll join Bob Seneker at the finish line in just a moment on Raceline. Welcome back to Raceline with Molson Export 300 winner Bob Seneker, and the towel has come in, the refreshments come in. Bob, you're leading in all-time ASA victories with now 61, 5 at Cayuga coming in. This is your 6th at this track. It's got to feel nice.
Well, it does feel real good winning up here in Canada at Cayuga. It's a wonderful race plant. And the Troop Motorsport team did a fine job preparing this car, and the Penske shocks and the Goodyear tires, everything's just working fine.
This is a new lease on life for you in ASA. This is your 17th year of competition. I know that teaming up with promising young rookie Johnny Benson Jr. with Leroy Troop has, as I say, been a new lease on life for you. You've got the vitality of a youngster again, and this has got to look like a brand new sort of a second stage for your career. Am I right?
Well, it sure feels good to lose some of the pressure I've had all these years where maintaining the car. Now I can just go look at it and say, I'll meet you at the racetrack.
One loose end in your career. You've never won a season's points championship. You lead the points coming into the race here at Cayuga, and now you've got some more points to add to that total. What about it? Are we finally going to see Bob Seneker with the points championship with the American Speed Association? What do you think?
Well, if any year is the year to do it, this will be the one.
All right, Bob Seneker, terrific. Okay, thanks very much. Bob Seneker, the winner of the Molson Export 300. Time now for the Revell model performance of the race, and a deserving winner in John Wilson of the Springfield, Ohio, in a car campaigned by Harold Fair last year in a motor that's 5 years old, Norm.
Well, maybe there's something to do with veteran motors today. What a great run John Wilson had. They came up with tires from the Mike Eddy crew, and they made a good day.
John Wilson, the Revell model performance of the race. Final results: Bob Seneker wins his 61st race, his 6th at Cayuga. Harold Fair finishing 2nd. Richie Bickle, the rookie, finishing 3rd. Ted Musgrave and Kent Stauffer in that Ford V6 development program. Jay Summers, Bruce Vanderlaan. Here's John Wilson in the top 10. Not bad at all. Bob Cibala in car number 86, and Dennis Vogel, who wrecked pretty badly in qualifying, got the car together. Upcoming events: the Big Rig 150 for the trucks, the Canadian Super Nationals. ASA returns in August with the Molson Export 400. You won't want to miss any of the action.
Wow, what a windy day here at Cayuga Speedway, but despite the gale force winds, it didn't seem to affect our drivers much this afternoon. In recapping today's action, big congratulations going out to our winner, Bob Seneker, car number 84 from Dorr, Michigan, enjoying a revitalized racing career this afternoon and obviously doing very well. Our Revell Model Performance of the Race Award winners, John Wilson in car number 71, not only running with an old car and an old engine, but riding on old tires borrowed from Mike Eddy. And he was leading for about 50 to 20 laps of the race and ended up in the top 10. What a performance. And worth mentioning today is Harold Fair, ASA veteran driver, who led for a good portion of the race but was nudged out of the way by Seneker, who took the checkered flag. And worth mentioning as well is Fair's son-in-law Jeff Neal in car number 5, who was expecting to do very well here today but ended up leaving the race early and was very disappointed. But look for all of these ASA drivers in the upcoming Molson Export 400 here at Cayuga Speedway, featuring NASCAR driver Dale Earnhardt and NASCAR rookie driver Dick Trickle. For everyone here at Cayuga Speedway, our crew, John Massingbird, Eric Thomas, Norm Noddle, myself, Catherine DeCourt, so long from the Molson Export 300. Racelines, in-car radios, and technical support provided by New Venture Communications, London, Ontario. And all in-car and wall cameras supplied by Sony Canada, the makers of the Sony Handycam.
Raceline has been brought to you by General Tire. Sooner or later, you'll own Generals. Castrol, the oil engineered for today's cars. And by Revell, the world's model maker.